You've probably had this thought at least once. Are we something, or am I just imagining all this? If you're in a situationship, you know exactly what I'm talking about. One moment, they're sending you warm, soul-level messages, the kind people write when they're ready to introduce you to their future children. The next moment, you can't tell if they're busy, emotionally unavailable, or simply practicing selective communication as a hobby they forgot to mention. And you sit there thinking, am I overthinking this, or is there genuinely something weird going on? You're not imagining it. You're not dramatic. You're not clingy. You're trying to decode feelings that arrive in inconsistent doses. A situationship isn't defined by silence. It's defined by mixed seriousness. Romantic energy but no commitment. Deep conversations but shallow plans. Emotional intimacy but logistical distance. I miss you without let's talk about us. Your internal balance starts acting like a GPS in a tunnel. The signal exists, just not consistently enough to guide you. And that confusion isn't weakness. It's your heart trying to interpret something that was never properly labeled. Sometimes the more you try to understand it, the stranger it feels. Like the connection makes emotional sense but not practical sense. Caught between hope and reality. There's a strange tension no one prepares you for. Your mind likes clarity. It likes definitions, structure, labels. It likes knowing where things stand. But your feelings? They follow patterns, not logic. So you end up in an emotional tug of war. Logic? I deserve someone who chooses me clearly. Longing? But what if this becomes something? What if we're close to defining it? Logic? They're inconsistent. Longing? But we have chemistry. Meanwhile, your heart is running emotional gymnastics, trying to interpret messages that deserve subtitles like emotionally expressive but still avoidant, please hold. And you freeze. Not because you don't know what you want, but because choosing yourself feels like risking something special. Freezing isn't indecision, it's emotional self-protection. Your system pauses when two truths collide. This connection matters to me, but I don't feel secure here. It's not hesitation, it's your heart taking a moment to steady itself. Sometimes you soothe yourself with small stories like, maybe it's timing, maybe life is chaotic for them, maybe they just need clarity on their own first. These thoughts keep you in the story because they sound reasonable, and they protect your hope. Why uncertainty hooks you more than clarity? Ambiguity creates intensity, not because it's healthy, but because your emotional system switches into search mode. Every small gesture becomes meaningful. An unexpected call, a long voice note, an honest message at 1 a.m., a warm compliment, a shared emotional moment. Your brain stores these moments as proof of closeness, and this creates what psychology calls a variable reward pattern. In simple terms, you never know when affection is coming, so your heart holds on tighter. It's the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. Situationships feel magnetic not because they're profound, but because they're unpredictable. A predictable almost is harder to walk away from than a clear no. That magnetism is not your fault. It's human biology trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. And that inconsistency often tricks your mind into thinking, this must be meaningful, when really it's the irregularity creating the intensity. Old attachment patterns start to stir. Situationships don't just activate attraction, they activate memory, the emotional kind. If love felt inconsistent growing up, your heart learned to adapt by working harder, waiting longer, hoping more intensely. So when someone gives you affection in waves instead of steady streams, your system doesn't reject it. It recognizes it. And familiarity often feels like love even when it isn't safety. Leaving a situationship isn't just walking away from a person. It's walking away from an old emotional pattern that once felt normal. If someone in your past showed up unpredictably, gave affection only when convenient, avoided clear commitments, made you work for closeness, made you feel replaceable, then of course this new dynamic hits deeper. Your younger self, the one who always wished someone would choose them decisively, steps forward, and your heart whispers, maybe this time someone will stay long enough. This isn't desperation, it's an old wound trying to rewrite its ending. The ironic part? In trying to heal the old story, you accidentally step into the same emotional cycle. Why they keep you in the almost zone? A blurry relationship usually reflects their limits, not your worth. People stay in situationships because commitment activates their internal alarms. They enjoy closeness but panic at responsibility. They want emotional benefits without emotional labor, validation, companionship, connection, but without consistency. Their communication skills are underdeveloped. Avoiding conversations feels easier than being honest. They fear disappointing you, so they stretch the almost indefinitely. They rely on your affection to manage their emptiness. Your presence is comfort. A title is pressure. None of this is about your value. You're interacting with their emotional ceilings, limitations they can't rise above. Some people don't choose confusion on purpose. It's simply the edge of their capacity. The cycle of hope that keeps you looping. It always begins subtly. A sweet message, a deep moment, a late night confession, a plan that feels meaningful, and you think, this must be progress. Then comes distance, silence, unclear responses, emotional coldness, and your mind fills the blanks. They must be overwhelmed. They might need space. Maybe I should wait a bit. Then another warm moment arrives, just enough to reset your doubts. And you stay, because the highs feel too real to walk away from. Hope becomes a cycle, an emotional treadmill you never planned to run. And each round convinces you, we're so close, leaving now makes no sense. The pressure that makes leaving hard. You're not just dealing with feelings, you're fighting the story you created around this person. Thoughts like, what if I misread everything? Will my friends think I was naive? What if they commit to someone else after me? What if this is the closest thing to connection I've had in years? Shame is quiet, but it's powerful. It makes you stay because leaving feels like admitting you were wrong. And then there's the emotional investment. All the vulnerability, all the hope, all the energy, all the time you poured in. Of course you want it to mean something. You're human. And wanting something deeply always makes letting go twice as hard. Steps toward clarity. Let's shift the focus back to you. Step 1. Replace self-criticism with curiosity. Instead of, why am I like this? Ask, what part of me is activated here? Step 2. Identify the real pain point. Finish this sentence. The part that hurts the most is naming pain shrinks it. Step 3. Rebuild your identity outside the situationship. Not as punishment, as oxygen. More of your plans, your friendships, your routines, your joy. Less of waiting, guessing, shrinking. Even small steps help your emotional compass point back toward you. You may not know what this is. You may not know what they want. You may not know what you want yet, and that's okay. Clarity isn't a lightning strike. It's a sunrise. Slow, quiet, steady. The real shift begins when you say, I deserve clarity. I'm not hard to love. I can want connection without abandoning myself. Slowly, the fog lifts. Not because the situationship becomes clear, but because you do. From this moment forward, you're allowed to take your heart seriously, even if your voice trembles when you finally say what you truly feel.